Would you like to know some easy ways on how you can reduce your impact on the planet and live a little bit more sustainably? Then this is the video for you. I'm Katie from Sustainable Squad. Anybody can be part of the squad as long as you're trying to do something to reduce your impact on the planet. We're going to cover 6 things on this episode. The dinner challenge, how to make some simple swaps to make your regular weekday meal a little bit more eco-friendly. Bossing it, I'm going to tell you about a brand who is going above and beyond to be more sustainable. Tip of the week, a really easy thing you can do to save waste and money. Oh, fancy that, is number 4. I can't actually move my finger up without having to hold that one down. This is when we are talking about a brand who have done something new and different that's a bit more sustainable. Number 5, I'm going to be answering one of your questions. It could be about recycling, food waste, whatever it is, I will be answering it. And finally, check your inbox. We're going to ask a brand if they can make a swap based on a really good example set by another brand. This week, the theme is coffee bags. This week's dinner challenge comes from a lady called Cicely who works in our local Pets Corner. She's ever so nice, they're lovely staff, and it's where we get our dog food for little Vinnie Scruffles, our border terrier. Anyway, the meal of choice this week is salmon fish cakes. Oh, I do love a fish cake. Now, we've dramatically reduced down our meat and fish and dairy intake, but we haven't cut it out completely. So, how do you make a fish cake a little bit more sustainable? So, taking a look at these, there are a couple of really, really easy wins. We can get the potatoes loose. Most places, supermarkets, your local shops, they will have loose potatoes. So be sure to bring your refillable little bags. It could even be an old bread bag that you refill and get your potatoes that way. Salmon, had an absolute win with salmon this week. I went to our local big supermarket and I went to the fish counter and they had loads of reduced fish that they cannot keep on display after 2 days, so they hugely reduce it. I got 4 salmon fillets for £1.88. So I bought 12, of course. The fish is perfectly edible. You can keep it another 24 hours in your fridge or a whole month in the freezer. So one way of helping to reduce food waste is always go for the bargain bucket. Another thing you can do, if you don't fancy doing that, is take your Tupperware to the fish counter or your local fishmonger and they will put the fish in the Tupperware. Lemons. You can buy your lemons loose. Avoid those nasty plastic nets because they cannot be recycled. Eggs. Eggs generally come in a cardboard box. Make sure that is the case and they're not got plastic on them. But another thing you can do with eggs, from an animal welfare point of view, you really don't want to be buying anything other than free range or organic. Also, see if your eggs are from the UK and even better from your local area to reduce your carbon footprint. Breadcrumbs, you can totally make your own. When bread starts to be on the turn, not like green gunky, mouldy turn, just a bit stiff and stale, whiz them up in a blender and you can freeze them if you don't want to use them straight away, and you've got your breadcrumbs there and you've reduced how much food waste goes in your bin into landfills. Blech. One other little tip when it comes to cooking is try and grow a herb garden, and you can do it inside as long as you've got lots of natural light and you've got some nice light soil to bed them in. Things like parsley, mint, coriander, rosemary, they grow really, really easy, and it means you can reduce how much plastic wrapped herbs you have to buy. Plus, a lot of local grocers will sell bunches of herbs that do not come in plastic. Bossing it. This feature is about a brand who is going above and beyond to be sustainable and reduce their impact on the planet. This week, Bloom and Wild. This is where these flowers have come from. So I've been very lucky and had my boss and the team send me a bunch of flowers this week because it's been a bit of a full-on week with half term and covering for people. So I was delighted to see, not only did I get some flowers in a box, look how narrow that is. It's a letterbox flower bouquet. This company, Bloom and Wild, are really going above and beyond, and this is why. Almost all of their packaging is completely recyclable. You've got the cardboard box that it comes in. Instead of plastic, you've got this paper that is wrapped around the flowers. You've got the more delicate flower heads. They put these little net socks on. Now, first inspection, I wasn't so sure about this, but these little net socks are made from the same things that plastic bags are made from. So, big supermarkets will tape these in that plastic bag recycling area. So it means your flowers are protected, and then you can, chuck them in the proper bin afterwards. Their ribbon is made from it's made from recycled material, and they suggest you could keep this perfect when you're coming up to birthdays and Christmases and what have you. Their food pouches are in paper, not plastic, which is pretty, I've never seen that before if I'm honest. And also their ink is vegetable ink. The website and the booklet that comes with it is really helpful. It tells you how to make the perfect bouquet, how to take the perfect pic, hello Instagram, and also when you're done with the flowers, when they're on the turn, it's how to avoid putting them into landfill. So they've got some advice on how to press them, how to dry them, or how to compost them, which is brilliant. And just when you think you couldn't love Bloom and Wild anymore, they are offsetting their carbon emissions to make sure they're supporting projects around the world who are trying to improve lives and cut carbon. And in 2021, they're working to reduce their emissions even more, and not just focusing on where they are, they're focusing on the supply chain that means that we get the flowers through our letterbox. Bloom and Wild, bossing it. Tip of the week is all about saving that veg that's in your fridge and on your side and probably not going to get eaten this week. So do you know that we waste a third of the food we produce? It just doesn't get used, doesn't get eaten, goes in the bin, whether it's straight from the supermarket because it's surplus or because it's straight from our fridge because we haven't got around to using it. A brilliant, brilliant way of avoiding that is by making soup. It is so simple, and with the crappy old weather we're having, it's a lovely solution. As long as you've got an onion and some stock, you can add pretty much anything to it. Today I made broccoli and potato soup, which actually was nicer than it sounds, using the broccoli stems as well as the florets, the flowers, loose potatoes, a bit of stock, some seasoning, so turmeric, it's a natural anti-inflammatory, some celery salt, and obviously some pepper, and you chuck it all in a pan, you leave it for about 20-25 minutes, and you whiz it all up with your hand blender. Ooh, voila! A little bit of bread and butter on the side if you've got it. Mwah. This week's, I didn't know that, is Carnation Condensed Milk. Now has come out in a vegan range. Now I haven't got my mitts on it yet because I wanted to try normal condensed milk because it's been so long since I've had it versus their vegan option, which is available in Waitrose and Morrison's, and very soon it will be in Tesco and Sainsbury's. Also, all their Carnation milk are completely gluten-free, so there's now something for people who are avoiding gluten and people avoiding dairy. Nice. The weather is super crap at the moment. It's very wet, and it leads us to the question of the week. What do you do with broken umbrellas? Most umbrellas have got a metal pole and a metal frame for the canvas to go on top of them. If you can pull apart the frame and pole from the canvas, you can recycle the metal in your local tip, your local recycling point. No problem. Now, as for the canvas, there are some very creative things you can do. If you're handy on the sewing machine, or maybe you know somebody who is and you can bung it their way, you could make really simple things like wash bags, shopping bags, gym bags. I've even seen someone make a really cute little dog's anorak out of them because obviously they're waterproof. So there you go. You can recycle umbrellas. You've just got to pick it apart and find places to put them. And the final feature for this week is check your inbox. There is a brilliant brand of coffee called Coffee Wankers. Yep, that's right. Spell anchor with a W. And these guys not only are hilarious on social media, they also provide all their coffee beans in compostable bags. Coffee Wankers get their bags from a company called The Bag Broker. So this has inspired me to get in touch with a local independent coffee company who I love called Small Batch, and ask them would they consider switching their current bags to something a bit more recyclable or even compostable, because as far as I can see their bags currently are not recyclable. So I'm going to send them an email, a very polite one, asking them about their bags and suggesting that they get in touch with these guys because they have absolutely nailed it. I'll let you know if they respond next week. Thanks for watching. I'm Katie, and if you have been here right to the end, then you're officially a member of Sustainable Squad and you give a damn. If you have any questions you would like me to answer in future episodes, please just put a comment under the video. Thanks very much.